We're also starting to get into a football state of mind, and we played for you a short time ago the comments from Stink, Mark Schlereth, on his Stinkin' Truth podcast. He's also with 104.3 The Fan in Denver and, of course, the NFL on Fox. And he joins us now to tell us all about that spicy Brock Purdy. Hey, Stink.
What's happening, guys? Great to be with you.
No, it's great to have you, man. Like, how would you, like, Purdy, we've sort of learned this here. You look at him on TV, and then you hear from him behind closed doors. He's a little different than he looks, isn't he?
Yeah, there's no question. I'll tell you what, I just find the kid like uber confident, not arrogant, but confident. You know, I always say confidence comes from a place of preparedness. You've done the work. You know how much work you've put in, and you're confident in what you've done. You're confident in your ability because you've done the work. Arrogance comes from a place of fear. I know I haven't done the work, so I got to puff my chest out and act like I've done the work. And, you know, that kid has definitely done the work. He is smart. He understands the scheme. He understands what's required of him. And, you know, he's got a bit of a gunslinger attitude. And he'll tell you, not in an arrogant way, just like, hey, man, you know, let the film speak for itself. I ain't afraid to throw it into a tight window. I ain't afraid to make a big throw down the field. I ain't afraid to thread it. So, I found him fascinating the last couple of weeks talking to him. I even talked to him last week for a long time, too, just because, you know, I just think the kid is legit. I think he's a big-time quarterback in the National Football League.
Are you surprised that nationally there still is so much doubt and so much shade thrown his way after the year that he's had as a possible NFL MVP?
No, because I think that most people don't study the game. Most people look at what Kyle Shanahan has been able to accomplish in San Francisco over the course of his coaching career. And people give him a ton of credit, and rightfully so. He deserves a ton of credit. But, you know, what he's asking Brock to do, the way he's asking Brock to play, I've always looked at it like people will talk about, you know, being a game manager is a bad thing. That's your job as a quarterback, to manage the game. And then to put your team in the best position possible to have success and to understand, you know, what they're doing defensively, what you're trying to accomplish offensively, and how to get through a progression, how to get through and get to the guy that needs the ball. You know, when you talk to Kittle and you talk to some of the other guys, they're like, hey, man, I don't care if I'm the fourth read in the progression. I'm running my route to get open because I know that Brock Purdy will, you know, there's a chance that he'll get it to me. And you don't see that in a lot, you know, with spacing and with the understanding of concepts. You don't often see that in other organizations because they just figure, hey, I'm never going to get the ball. I'm the fourth guy in the progression. And it's not that way with the San Francisco 49ers. And that's a testament to Brock Purdy and how good he is and his ability to get through, you know, to read it pre-snap, to confirm it post-snap, and to get the ball where it's supposed to go regardless of what position you are throughout the progression.
Stink, where would you put him in the MVP race?
I would probably put him, it was at the Christmas game obviously hurt. And, you know, and I think that probably Lamar has taken over based on what Lamar does. And listen, man, Lamar running around, Lamar making plays. Lamar's been so much better making plays that are off schedule, but doing it with his arm, you know, staying in the pocket and making those plays. So I probably would, if I had a vote, which I don't, I probably would vote for Lamar because I think he's so much a part of that offense. He's such a huge part of that offense. And then it would probably be Brock and then maybe Christian after that. But, you know, it would be Christian and Brock would be 1B and 1C, if you would. But I would probably vote Lamar.
Do you think it should be a knock on Brock Purdy or a credit to Brock Purdy that he's able to do what he does in the Shanahan system surrounded by so much talent?
No, I think probably people look at it as a knock. But, you know, you're managing it, and he doesn't worry about who he's going to throw it to or where he's going with the football because that's Kyle Shanahan's job. Your job is to read the defense and go where the defense tells you to go with the football. And that's what he does exceptionally well. And then you're keeping all those guys fed, you know, everybody from Ayuk to Kittle to Debo to Christian McCaffrey. So all those guys are being fed, as you well know. So, I just think the kid's an incredible player. And he's a great football player. So, 6 of one, half dozen of another. It really doesn't matter. They're not worried about individual accolades or Pro Bowls, or they're not worried about winning MVP over there. They're worried about winning a Super Bowl. And that's pretty much the way it should be. So I don't think anybody really cares who gets voted the MVP in that organization. They're looking for something bigger than that.
Let's talk about that. Mark Schlereth is with us here on 95.7 The Game, Willard and Dibs. I've been racking my brains looking at scenarios coming out of the playoffs, and Stink, I'm having a hard time sort of finding the team that I think could knock off either the Niners or the Ravens in their respective conferences. How likely of a Super Bowl matchup do you think that is?
Well, I think it's fair. I think it's really likely. The team that I think in the NFC that a lot of teams don't want to play, Los Angeles. I think the Rams, being 7-1 down the stretch, I think what they've been able to do offensively, especially defensively, they have a superstar in Aaron Donald, as you guys know, and then they've got a bunch of rising players, and their defense is good enough. They're not great, but they're good enough. And special teams, they've got a problem, but they're playing a Super Bowl style of offense right now. Sean McVay in this offseason, Les Snead did a really good job. Les Snead did a really good job of rebuilding an offensive line, getting some dominant players up there on the offensive line. They really started to run the ball after the bye week. They started the season 3-6. They finished 7-1. Really started running the ball exceptionally well. Williams has been great, and they're built. It's interesting to watch. Their same offense, the same. If you opened up the playbook, terminology would be the same. You would see the same formations, and there's always going to be a few nuances based from staff to staff, but everything would be the same. But when you look at them on film, San Francisco led the league in two-back offense at 49.5% of the time. They had two backs in their system. The LA Rams, 0% of the time did they run two-back. They ran it all out of three wides, and yet it's the same offense. So they're just using, in San Francisco, they're using a fullback in use check, where in LA they're using the wide receiver in Puka Nacua, or they're using a wide receiver to play tight end in Cooper Kupp. And so it's really interesting to see these two offenses that are the same, but look so different on film and the way they get to things. But the one thing that's constant is they both dominate the running game, and that creates the play action, creates the opportunities in the passing game for both these offenses.
Is the Niners' reliance on 21 personnel with the two backs, as you mentioned, nearly half the time they have two backs, does that limit their ability to come back from a deficit in the second half because they don't have as much three wides in their arsenal?
Yeah, I still think they have plenty of three wides. I just don't think that's what they work on a lot. They work on creating a system and orchestrating that system and running the football and then setting up their big play action stuff off of that. It's not let's just run, X individual, F individual, and Z individual routes. It's not just, hey, let's go deep or let's do it this way. They run their system, and their run game is so good, and everything comes off that run game. So what's the thing I saw? I think 38-0 when they trail in the fourth quarter. Or 0-38, I should say, or something of that nature. Some crazy statistic about them trailing going into the fourth quarter and not being able to come back from that. I think it's a lot because they are so reliant on what they do from a system standpoint, and that has to do, to me, more. It's more about being on the schedule that you want to be on and not playing off schedule. They just don't play a lot off schedule, so I think that's probably one of the issues, and would be the one Achilles heel, I guess, if you will, of the Niners going forward.
Mark Schlereth with us here on Willard and Dibs 95.7 The Game. Mark, if Brock Purdy does play the Ravens again, what does he need to do differently?
Not get the ball tipped. Listen, I went through that film with a fine-tooth comb. I went and looked at all the coaches' tape, and I spent a lot of time doing that. And I honestly I thought San Francisco dominated that game. Now, you're not going to win any game you turn it over 5 times in. But I thought they were dominant. I thought they ran the ball any way they wanted to run the ball. I thought they set up their play action and had big plays in the passing game. Not only to Ayuk, but to George Kittle. I just thought they had big plays all over the place offensively. And I thought, defensively, in that first quarter, they forced Lamar to stay in the pocket, and Lamar had a lot of errant throws. Did not throw the ball particularly well in that scenario. So to me, there's two things. I mean, offensively, just do what you do, and ultimately, you can't get the ball tipped on some of their blitzes and things of that nature. And then defensively, you got to cage rush Lamar. You just cannot let him. I mean, they had probably 4 or 5 free runners on Lamar that none of them got home. They all got there, but he made every one of them miss. And then it was just a big play afterwards. And so to me, it's just like, hey, man, we're going to sit back, we're going to mush rush you or cage rush you and make you throw the football from the pocket. And I think I think if they would have done that in that first game, they would have beat them. And I'm just telling you, the confidence, and this is just me from a speculation standpoint, but the confidence that Kyle Shanahan had, the confidence that team had after that beatdown on Christmas Day, bodes well for San Francisco if they met again in the Super Bowl. And if they did, there's no question I would take San Francisco, and I whatever. I mean, they'd probably get points. I would take San Francisco straight up.
That is an interesting comment. Mark Schlereth, great stuff. Hey, also, just would love your perspective on what feels like a very memorable day and very memorable time for the entire sport. Pete Carroll on his way out, Nick Saban on his way out, Bill Belichick might be on his way out. Are we seeing a little bit of a changing of the guard, you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously with Pete Carroll, he's done such an unbelievable job, and it looks like he'll be part of the organization, but just an unreal job. And I did their preseason game, their last preseason game, and the Seahawks invited me to come out and spend a couple of days in Seattle and just be kind of have a free run of the organization and see how things go. And just an incredible organization that Pete Carroll has been in charge of for 14 seasons. And then, what can you say about Nick Saban? He's just one of the best to ever do it. So it certainly feels weird. I don't know, you can sit there and speculate. Obviously, Saban's 72 years old, but I just wonder if the whole portal thing and, transfer thing and all that stuff, because it just felt weird. Like the bowl season was garbage, right? Like, hey, this guy making his first start, it's a bowl game. You're making his first start, and, 8 guys are in the transfer portal, so they're not playing. And it just felt dirty to me.
Mark, great stuff, man. Wonderful to have your perspective, and that's really great insight on the conversations with Purdy, man. Thank you for coming on.
You got it. Take care.
All right, there you go. Stink with us here on Willard and Dibs.